To hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to ProbateData Power Gym. It is 3:01 Pacific Standard Time, which means it's time to dive in to ProbateData. So before we continue, let me make sure you guys can hear me. So if you can hear me, my sound is good, and you like what you hear so far, just type in the Q&A box on the right-hand side. Say, yes, we can hear you, and also let me know where you're from, where you're prospecting, and we'll jump right in. So today it's going to be a little bit different in the sense of, hey Randy, welcome. In the sense of the agenda. Usually I have an agenda and I tell you what we're going to do. Today it's going to be different for two reasons. I'm slightly unprepared. And the second reason is let's try the format and switch it up a little bit. So you tell me what you guys want to address. I've been getting phone calls and emails and messages for the last 2 weeks. I've been getting requests for how to do basic downloads, but also like what do we do with the leads once we downloaded them? You know, how do I edit a spreadsheet? How do I open it up? How do I adjust the column width? Like basic stuff. So I'm happy to go back into the basics. I can also show you some of the more advanced searches. So meaning we can go back in time and find the ones that haven't sold yet over the last 9 to 12 months. So just kind of start typing in the box. What is it that you'd like to cover today besides the basics? And I'll just dive right in. So while you guys are thinking about that, I will keep an eye here on the message board. Sound distorted to some of you. Most of you can hear me okay. All right. So here's a question. How do we get updates from the lead that was filed? Okay. And then how do we edit a spreadsheet so it's easier to mail merge between Excel and Word? Okay, those are good questions. So let's dive in. We'll do a basic search, and then I'll take some of these questions. One is from Johnny, and one is from Rubilina. I believe it's the right way to pronounce it. And let me just open this up here. So you should be seeing my screen now. You should be seeing ProbateData. Let me make sure that you're seeing what I'm seeing. Audience view. Okay, right on. So once you're logged in, and you're going to see a slightly different look on my computer because I'm an admin. So you won't see this black bar when you log in, but you're going to see basically the main search up here. So let's just do a new search here. I know, Johnny, you're in the LA County. So we're going to start here in LA County. I'm going to do downtown LA, do a quick search. So basically, let's start over. I feel I went too quick on that one. So I click on new search, takes me to the map of the US. Then I pick my state. So I'm going to do California. Then I pick, in our case here, it's downtown LA and Antelope Valley. And I'm just going to pick since the beginning of March, go back a full month actually. So the 15th of February till today. And I'm going to leave the advanced options off for now, but if you clicked on that, you would get all these other options that you could filter by. But for right now, let's keep things simple. I'm a big fan of simple. And then I just check my date range for about a month, LA County, Antelope Valley, and I hit search. So while this is searching, Lourdes is asking, will we offer a replay? Yes. Once this webinar is over, I'll send out a replay link so you guys can watch this again. So let's just say I got about 10 cases here that I want to download, and I'm going to do a mail merge with. So this one is for Johnny Corpus, and I'm going to hit include previously downloaded cases, hit export, and because I've already done this search before, it actually is not going to take any time here. So I'm just going to hit CSV, and it downloads. And if you're using Chrome, it's going to be in the lower left-hand corner. And if you're using Firefox, it's going to be in the upper right-hand corner. So I'm just going to open it up here. All right, so how do we prep this for a mail merge? There's a lot of information here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to select everything up here in the left-hand corner. So when I click this, everything gets selected. And then what I do is I actually hover between the A and the B and the columns, and you see how it changes. So there's arrows going both ways, and I just double click, so everything's going to get adjusted. This one got adjusted a little too much, so I just click here and I lower that a little bit. I take out the stuff that I don't need. So for bedroom, bathroom, I don't need all this little information. I mean, I don't need the stuff right here. So for a mail merge, the things that I might want to include, let's consider that here. So I'm going to open up a Word document. So what are some of the things we need? We need the case number. We need the PR contact info, date of passing, name of decedent. Those are the main ones that would probably go into your letters when you're mailing letters or postcards, because you can always reference the case number, and then the PR contact information obviously is going to be their name. So first name, last name, address, and maybe, you don't need a phone number for your letter, date of passing, and the name of the decedent. So I'm just going to move this down here. Now that I can see everything here, let's get rid of the stuff I don't need. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save this file, and I'm going to give it a name that makes sense to me. So I'm going to call it LA County, February 15th to March 15th. Let's see, save as. Here we go. So let's see, why am I doing this? Because there's going to be two files, right? I'm going to have this file right here. I'm going to call this the raw file for LA County, 10 cases, February 15 through March 15. So the reason I'm doing is just for organizational purposes. I'm going to save this. So now I have this saved. And now I'm going to go save it again, but I'm going to give it a different name. Save as. And this time I'm just going to call it the mail merge file. And here's why we're changing the name. So like I said, the things we're going to keep is going to be the PR, so the case number, the date filed, let's keep that one as well. The address of the city, zip code, we want to keep those. I don't need the courthouse. I don't need the attorney name or address or lawyer city or zip code or phone number because I'm not talking to him or her. So I'm going to get rid of those. And I'm going to get rid of this one as well. Here we have the petitioner. So I'm going to take a quick look at this. This looks good. I might want to just change this one here. It says pro per. I don't want to send a letter to Timothy E. Nyland and then pro per. So that's just for me to know that he's pro per for later follow up. So I just want to delete that out. The rest of the names look pretty good. That looks good. That looks good. LA County Public Administrator. That's good enough. And again, for mail merge purposes, I don't really need this stuff here either. I do need the petitioner address and city and zip code. So I'm going to keep all those. So these I'm going to keep in. Petitioner phone number, I don't need that for a mail merge either. I also really don't need the relationship, unless in the letter you want to say, I'm sorry for the passing of your brother, daughter, sister, cousin, whatever it is, friend. But in instances where we don't know the relationship, there's just going to be a blank in that letter. So just keep it simple. Get rid of that. Date of passing, I want to keep this as well. Now, the property details and encumbrances and beneficiaries, I don't need any of this. So I'm going to delete all that as well. So now it went from a massive file to a manageable file. And we just have what we need. So let's look at this side by side. So we got the case number is over here. We got the PR contact information, which is going to be over here. So now that we have everything that we need, we're ready to do a mail merge. Now, I'm not going to do a full mail merge. We have other videos on how to do that. But the question from the group today was, how do you prepare a file for mail merge? So now you got a clean file. You have fewer headers to choose from when you're doing your mail merge. You're not going to get lost in all the mail merge stuff. There's only like maybe 10 headers or so that you can choose from. So when you go and you start writing your letter, it's easier to choose from which one is going to be the appropriate one. So that's how you prepare your mail merge file for before you send out letters. Now let's take a look at the next question here. So here we go. Bear with me, guys. There's a bunch of comments. All right, so the next question is, how do we get updates from the lead that was filed? So there's a number of ways you can do this, right? You can actually, if you're in LA County, you can just take the case number and then go to the courthouse website, put in the case number. I'm just going to put the question up here. So once you've gotten your petition for probate from ProbateData, you've gotten all the information, and it's been a few months into it. We only send our researchers out to get that information from the petition for probate. We have several options to find out more information. You can find out the duties and responsibilities and liabilities of the PR. Sometimes there's more information filed there. You can go to the county courthouse website and type in the case number in their search engine, and then you can see what their history is and upcoming dates and court orders and things like that. But in all honesty, in terms of getting the listing, all you need is what you have with ProbateData, and I'll tell you why. Your main job is to reach out to the PR or the attorney and do what you can to make them comfortable with you and establish rapport and build a relationship. So the main way you do that is by standing out from everybody else. Let them know that you're a certified probate real estate specialist, if that's the case, which is the case for most of you on today's call. And also let them know how you can help them in using the marketing timelines that they teach over at the MTI Education, the 30, 60, 90s, the follow-up, the letters, the postcards, the door knocking. If you keep following up with that, there will be a listing eventually. One of the things we keep talking about is the regular market right now. Outside of probate, you only have six out of 100 homeowners will sell within 12 months, whereas in probate, 90 out of 100 will sell within 12 months. So if we were out fishing one day and I gave you the option of fishing in a pond where only 6 will bite versus 90 will bite, where are you going to go fishing? Where are you going to feed your family? Obviously, where there's 90 of them biting, right? So there's 90 that you're going to catch within that time period. So the reason to get updated from the lead that was filed, if it's not related to actually help you in prospecting and you're just curious what's going on, in all honesty, we've been doing this for 10 years, you're wasting your time. So don't waste time becoming an expert in probate and what's going on with the case. Become an expert at building rapport and marketing and door knocking and getting that listing appointment. In all honesty, I don't really know what you could find out in the update from the case that would help you get closer to the PR. So that's I'm just going to bring that up. I'm going to say that with with a grain of salt, so to speak, and hopefully you guys can kind of read between the lines. I want to make sure that that makes sense. Okay, so Susanna is saying, why do we need to show the date of passing when we do a mail merge? You don't have to. You could not show it. When you start out with the letter, I'm sorry for the passing of, and then you put the name in there and then you put the decedent date. All it is like it gives you some sense of authority that you know what's going on. This person passed away on March 5th, and you like to help them out, and they just filed. So that's one way you can use that. You don't have to use it. And same thing with the case number. If you want to write slightly more authoritative, slightly more authoritative letter, you can always start out with like regarding, case number. And you put it in here. Sorry, typing a little too fast. Filed on, and you put the date in the estate of, for the estate of. So basically, what that does, if you open that letter up with a header like that, or in your postcards, or on your envelopes with a sticker, it shows that it's actually slightly more official. You know what you're doing, and you've done your homework versus just sending a letter to the PR. So that's how you could use a case number. But again, you got to find your own style. You got to do what works for you. So here's another question from Johnny. I'm not sure I understand it. So maybe you want to clarify a little bit. Let me put it up on the big screen here and see if I can make sense of it. Would you please reorganize the premium lead column so that, for example, we could have an Excel sheet that shows petitioner info for snail mail processing, then using the same leads for that week, target attorneys for an email campaign, and then a snail mail campaign. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. That's really on you, Johnny. I don't know how, I can't tell you and show you how to organize your business and your leads. You got to find a way to do that yourself, whatever makes sense for you. I can tell you how I would do it, which would basically maybe I would take that initial spreadsheet and then maybe save it for 3 different campaigns and then give it 3 different names. So this is my mail merge file. I could go back to my original file and open that one up. And so go back to my raw file. And this is my raw file. Then I could save all the information for the attorneys. Oops, that's not the one. So now I could do another file for the attorneys, and then use that as a follow-up file. So again, I don't know what tools you use and how you do it. You could also just use 3 different tabs, and so you have 3 different sheets down here and how you stay organized, and then you could have a follow-up date column where you could be calling on them. So however you organize your files, that's entirely up to you, Johnny. I can't really teach you how to organize your leads and your business. So whatever you're using right now, that's the beauty of a spreadsheet. You can manipulate the data however you want. Okay. So if there's no other major questions, let me see here. So let's see here. There's another question. How does the PR sign the listing agreement? Short answer with a pen. But let me move on from that short smartass kind of answer. How does the PR sign a listing agreement? So the PR can sign a listing agreement once they've got the orders for probate. So first they file the petition for probate, and then at that point, when they receive the orders for probate, that means they've kind of gotten the job. They're okay. They can sign a listing agreement. That's usually within 30 days, depending on what county you're in. And then from there, once you want to close escrow, I believe there's another document needed. Slipping my mind right now. Orders for probate, petition, order, letters of testamentary, I believe that's the one, or letters of administration. One of those 2 will be the one that you need to close escrow. But at any rate, regardless of what's going on with the estate, I just did a presentation to an office this morning. What you need to know as an agent is that whatever happens with the estate, your window of opportunity is within 3 to 5 months, right? 2-3 months basically get the listing, get the property sold, close escrow, they get their money, you get your commission, and whatever happens after that, you're out of the picture, right? So if they take another 9 months or 12 months or 2 years to close this case, that doesn't affect you at all. You need to contact them and prospect when you can. So maybe it's different from county or state to state. John is saying that heirs have to sign off as well. I'm not sure that's the case, and I really don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of the legality of probate and how that technically works. I'd save those questions for your coaching calls with MTI. I'm just here to show you how the machine works with ProbateData, how you can get leads, not so much on the legalities of probate and how to fill out your contracts. All that is being taught in the MTI course, so I encourage you to go back and revisit those. All right, so here's a great question. What's a good way to check on the website for a specific case? All right, so I like that question. I can roll with that. Let's see here. So let's say I have a specific case number. So I have 18 STP B02111. So that's LA County. So let's say, Susanna, I'm not sure which county you're in. And let's say I want to do a new search. I know that this was filed in downtown LA, so I'm going to go back to downtown LA. This is where you have your advanced search options. So you don't fill anything in on start date or end date. You just go to your search advanced, show advanced options, and then you scroll down about five fields below. You see here it says case number, and this is where you type in the actual case number. You might be able to actually copy paste it, but let's just type it in here. The case number is 18 STP 02111. All right. So notice I don't put anything else anywhere else. No start date, no end date, nothing. Right. I do have to pick the courthouse, so I pick downtown LA, and I hit search. And here's the case. It comes up right away. And now I can click on it and I can see more details. That's a great question. Thank you, Susanna. So question, this is from Harriet, does the file generally have proper information? Generally, yes, Harriet, depends on the county you're in. I know that in Oklahoma and Arizona, a couple other states are considered closed states. So at the petition for probate, they're not required to disclose the address of the decedent at the time of passing. So that is not available. So in Arizona, I know a lot of agents actually cross-reference with tax records and title companies to find the property address, and or they just call the PR and do the assumptive ask and say, hey, the property belongs to your uncle. Are you going to sell it, or are you going to lease it? And then they either will say lease it or sell it. That means there's a property in the case. But I know a lot of times in Arizona, they just go cross-reference with property tax records, and if they find property tax records under a certain person's name, they know that they own property. Okay, so past videos. Where do we find past videos? Really, there's only 3 videos you need to know here for ProbateData. So when you log in, you'll notice that there is, it says here, not sure how to begin. Watch these videos below and start prospecting today. So these 3 videos is really all you need. The basics, how to do a search, the 3 most important features you will need, and cherry picking out-of-state petitioner leads. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten a customer service inquiry. They were totally lost, completely frazzled and frustrated, not knowing where to go, what to do. I sent them to this first things first email, video. I said, log in, watch this video, and if you still have a challenge, call me back or email me. And I never get a call back, and I never get email other than, okay, I got it. This makes sense. I'm in now. I'm doing my searches. So please take advantage of this, guys. Now, don't wait every 2 weeks for me to have a webinar to show you the basics. You can get access to this 24/7 on your account. So make sure that you do that. All right, so let's talk about different types of properties. This is a good one from Ed Martinez. Let me put the question up here. So here's a question from Ed. Would you recommend reviewing all the cases to determine a higher probability of listing the property? For example, free and clear property versus a mortgage property, which might have a higher probability of heirs wanting it sold. Here's what I've learned over the years, and it doesn't mean it has to apply to you, and that doesn't mean that it's something that's going to work for you. As a real estate agent, you get paid commission whether there's mortgage on it or not. I will say if there's a mortgage on it, there might be more of a motivation to move quickly on it because they're making mortgage payments and they start getting letters from the mortgage company if they stop making payments, then that might freak them out. So if they don't know that they have an option to negotiate, if the property's upside down, you might have to get into a short sale situation. We had a lot of those when we started 8 to 10 years ago, as did many others. And honestly, banks and mortgage companies do not want to deal with probate, and they don't want to get caught up in a court process. So they're more likely to actually negotiate and get things done faster rather than later. So that's one way to look at it. And it really depends on what your style is. Obviously, if you want to look for free and clear property and there's a guarantee of a greater payout to all the heirs and the PR, that could be a good talking point when you're talking to them about motivating them and getting a clear understanding of the PR's intention with her settlement of $50,000. What is she going to do with that? Go buy a new car? I don't know. Put in their kids' more college funds. Whatever is the motivation for the payout, you can obviously always speak to that. So that's an answer to Ed. So we did, recently, this is Susanna, we started adding the last sale date to our search results. And a lot of times that will show up. And then when it doesn't, it just means we weren't able to get that from Zillow. So we're pulling this from Zillow, basically. So here's a couple right now. This was filed in Miami-Dade back in 2015, and the last sold date was 2003. So that tells you that this is an old search, by the way. That tells you that this property has not yet been sold. So in this case, you really want to cross-reference. So for those of you that are in Miami-Dade, I really encourage you to use this feature of the last sold date. And when you export it out to a spreadsheet, if it's available from Zillow, we will display it. So the next step here, if I was doing Miami-Dade and I was looking at this particular case, I would say, wow, this was filed 2015. It hasn't sold yet according to Zillow. Maybe they're still working on it, right? Whereas this one here, this was filed in 2015 in July, and the last sale date was 2016. So almost 9 months later. So that's a case closed. There's nothing there for you to list. Same thing here. This was sold in 2017. So there's no go on these. But this one is really interesting, right? It shows 2003. I would definitely contact them if I was Miami-Dade. So for those of you that are in Florida, prospecting Miami-Dade, write down this case number 2015-003078-CP-02. Let's see here. So the last sold it is as accurate as we can get it from Zillow. Always cross-reference with your MLS. What's up with New York? What about New York, Harriet? What's your specific question? Do we have New York? Yes, we do. Let's do a new search. And I'm going to pick New York right here. We have Queens, New York, Richmond, and Nassau. Is there a specific question, something you want to see? Okay, yeah, so we do have these counties, Harriet. So let me just do a search here, I guess. This is a new search, so I'm just going to say Nassau. Nassau. The reason I'm giving a description, I'll show you in just a second. I'll say February 1st through March 15th. So I'm going to put in the search date. And then March 15th. And I'm going to select Nassau. Now, the reason I'm doing this, I'm giving it a name, because every time you do a search, ProbateData will remember it and put it in your search list. So here's my 112 entries, and again here I can do so if we have it, if we can display it, it will show up. If you don't care about that, that's fine too. But now you can look at individual cases. You can see if it's worth your time, if it's something you want to work on, and then from here you can download it, right? So you would select the cases that you want to download, hit export, and then download to CSV or PDF like we did before. Now, this is really neat. Let me show you a shortcut for example, Harriet. If I go to my search list, and then I sort by dates, it'll show here that my search for Nassau, and look at this, I can do what's called an alert. I can create an alert. So that means every time we upload cases for Nassau County, you will receive an email saying we just uploaded cases for Nassau County, and there's a link there you can click and it'll take you to the search results. And then you can go in and actually start downloading those. And now it says, okay, you created your alert successfully, and you hit all right. So if you go into alerts, this is really neat. You can sort it by date when you created them, and you can see your different alerts here. Now, if you want to edit it and you want to say, I only want properties where the petitioner is out of state. So for example, in Broward, I made it create an alert for that. I can click edit. And in this case, it's Broward County. And then I said, I only want situations where the petitioner lives outside of Florida. So whenever we upload cases and the petitioner address is outside of Florida, I get an email saying, hey, you have an alert that matches this description. Click here to see the cases. Now, how is this powerful? The reason being, petitioners that live outside of state, they're more dependent on your expertise in your local market because they really don't know the market. So there's a marketing angle for that. The next best thing for alerts is, you have whatever limits you have. So some agents have 100 downloads per month, some have 200, some have 600 downloads per month, depending on how much you're paying. But the next step up from alerts is actually premium. And if you're a member to premium, you can always email me and find out what your cost will be. Email support@ProbateData. When you're a member of ProbateData Premium, here's what happens. We actually email you the cases directly. So this is an upgrade from alerts. So two reasons why you want to upgrade to premium. Number one, we send you a link to the download. So when I click here CSV, it just downloads right away into my browser on the left-hand side. And I don't have to log into ProbateData at all. I just get it right away. And then here it is. Here's all the cases. And now I can start downloading. And I can start manipulating this sheet here. Now, how is this better than just a regular membership or regular alerts? There's no limit here. So for downtown LA, for example, roughly 300 to 400 cases get filed a month. We'll send you everything. We'll just send you everything, and then you can sort through it and do what you want with it. In addition to that, you can still log into ProbateData and do case searches for going back in time. So this is for anything new that gets filed. You get an email saying, here are your leads, download, start working. For those of you that are interested in this and knowing specifically what the cost is for each county, it's based on how many uploads we get per month. You can email support@ProbateData, and I'll get back to you with a quote. Let's see if there's any questions. So Mars is asking, will Lake County ever be added to Ohio? Lake County, Ohio, let's see. Let me search. What do we have right now in Ohio? I don't know. I can submit a request and see how many subscribers we have there, if it makes sense, and how hard it is to get the data. And then, Mari, if you just want to do me a favor, just email me to support@ProbateData. Just say, hey, this is Mari, reminder for Lake County, and that way it'll stay in my queue, and I'll get back to you when I have an answer for you. All right, so we'll take one more question because my promise is always we get done here within 30 minutes. We start about 2 minutes late, so I'm going to go over by about 4 or 5 minutes. So last question is from Susanna, and she's asking, is there any, no, I tend to use the mail merge only for the labels and not to personalize the letter. Is there any feedback from people in regards to whether it should be personalized? My take on it is that the more you can stand out, the more you can personalize it, the greater chance you have of people actually paying attention. So I would personalize it a little bit in the body of the email, just reference the basics, the case number maybe, or the name of the decedent or their name. Just show that you've done your homework and that you know what's going on, and that's why you're an expert. So question, Sarasota. Still don't have anything, Sarasota. So Sarasota, our researcher, she quit and kind of left us hanging dry, and we're looking for new researchers there. And as soon as we have researchers, we'll get caught up. All right, so there'll be a recording available here within the next hour or so. You'll get an email from everybody, from me. We'll go out to everybody. It will come from support@ProbateData. There will be a link to our YouTube channel, and the video will be in there. I want to thank you all for making this a great webinar. Thanks to your questions. Thanks to your questions, we actually got some work done today, and this was a new format. I hope you liked it. And we'll be back here in 2 weeks. We'll do another Power Gym, and we'll have some interesting announcements in the next 2 weeks. We're adding people to our team and changing things up a little bit, so look out for that email as well. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.